Aston Martin was founded in 1913. Since then, we've produced the world's most beautiful vehicles. We're a bespoke manufacturer, building vehicles by hand with very low volume. To put that into perspective, 85,000 vehicles in our lifetime. To also put that in perspective, Toyota produces that many vehicles in about 3 days. For me, after nearly 20 years of working in the automotive industry, I was contacted by a good friend of mine named Simon Spruill, who's our chief marketing officer. I was living in England at the time, and he asked me if I wanted to take a tour of the Aston Martin factory. I mean, well, really, who wouldn't? So I accepted the invitation. I've been to a lot of automotive factories in my day, but this was unlike anyone I had ever seen. It's immaculate. You could literally eat off of the floor, but there was this very interesting sound that I couldn't quite pinpoint. In fact, it was a humming sound. I finally figured out what that sound was as we took our tour, and we walked past the seamstresses hand-stitching the leather. Only one seamstress can hand-stitch every Aston Martin because each car is handmade and each stitch is unique. So if you had one person stitching the left-hand side of the car and another person stitching the right-hand of the side of the car, they wouldn't match. So I was sort of amazed by this entire process. And then I was taken on a tour of understanding how the Wings badge was made, which is made in the jewelry district in Birmingham, England. Well, the resulting experience for me meant that driving an Aston Martin must be a moment to savor. It's a privilege to represent what I believe to be the most beautiful automotive brand in the world. So the beginning of the second century plan was all about delivering 7 cars in 7 years. Now, many of you will be familiar with those 7 cars, but I'm going to rattle through it really quickly. So it started with the DB11 family, a V8, the V12 AMR, and a Volante. 1 year ago, we revealed the new Vantage, which just went on sale this summer. And happy to announce that the DBS Superleggera has just gone on sale, and you saw a picture of that before. That's 715 horsepower, 660 pound-foot of torque. After that, 2 weeks ago, we announced the name of our first SUV, which is the DBX. And certainly that vehicle will propel us into new territory. Next year, we will also launch the Rapide E, which will be our first all-electric vehicle. In addition to that, next comes a mid-engine sports car. And now another big one, which is sort of appropriate for why we're standing here today. We will relaunch Lagonda, which will be the world's first zero-emissions luxury brand. It absolutely looks straight to the future. And that's deliberate because the founder is a guy named Wilbur Gunn. And many of you might not know this, but Lagonda is actually named after a river in Ohio. You can check it out on Wikipedia. Since the beginning, Wilbur Gunn had this thought of how could we actually transform travel. And so, as I think the pictures are rotating behind me, you will have seen the Lagonda vision concept, which certainly is about changing what travel looks like. The autonomous Lagonda won't have a hood because it's an all-electric power plant and it doesn't require one. And I really think that the design concept shows you how luxury and modern design can truly coexist. It'll enable passengers to go from point A to point B, but in a space that they've never quite imagined before. But even as we evolve since day one, Aston Martin's defining characteristic has been that we're bespoke. In an industry that is personified by slow-moving, slow-to-turn cruise ships, we, like our cars, are able to turn on a dime. And we believe that being bespoke allows us to be responsive and to be nimble, and obviously luxurious. Outsiders might view what we do in our individualized approach as old school. And maybe they think that it's bound for failure and a liability. However, looking at the current market and beyond, we believe the contrary. Our time-honored and bespoke approach is actually our greatest asset.
Jamie, tell us a little bit about the booth here.
This is our pod, and we're here where we can have people come in and we can discuss the future of automotive and the future of how things are designed and made.
I said booth instead of pod, and it wasn't even happy hour we were talking about.
Be careful on this. This is a pod.
Tell us a bit about the virtuality here with the glasses.
Okay, what we have here is some of our latest and greatest technology. Some of my background, I was an automotive designer prior to joining Autodesk 2 years ago, and this was a key tool for us within the design studio, and a key enabler for taking huge chunks of time and automating the design process within the design studio. My colleague here, Mr. Michael Sagan.
Hey, Mike.
Hello. Michael, doing it to it. And what we have that you see on the screen is something that is revolutionary. This is probably one of the most disruptive technologies really that you could see in the design studio today. It is actually immersed. Michael is immersed right now, and he is sketching, surfacing in 3D.
Far out. Wow.
Yeah. So the key takeaway on this is it's enabling, as a designer, you want to pull things, if you want to sell a product, you want to look at it in the physical world. But virtually, we can take huge chunks out of that development process. And I always like to say, as soon as you deal with data and you're going to take the data to develop physical property, it becomes dead data. It's not dynamic. It's not live. So why not deal with things way up front to get things phased out and designed for manufacturability is really what things are about. In the end result, our customers benefit from this by lead time, saving time, and ultimately bringing products to market much faster.
Jamie, tell us a little bit about additive design. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Additive technology, right? 3D printing in its simplest form. Another huge disruptive technology that we're seeing enter the marketplace, especially in automotive. We did a joint pursuit or partnership with General Motors where we took absolutely General Motors in the D. We were talking about the D, going 8 parts, taking 8 parts and consolidating into one, and let alone taking complexity out of things that you couldn't even imagine before, even designing before. A speaker grill, if you will, and being able to do very complex forms of shapes.
We're here at the Los Angeles Convention Center for the Auto Show, and we're here at the Silver Draft Supercomputing. How am I doing? All right, Amy, tell us, what is your title here, Amy?
So my name is Amy Guile, and I am the co-founder and CEO of Silver Draft Supercomputing.
Tell us a little bit about the computers over here.
Absolutely. So we're here in the Autodesk booth. Autodesk is a really wonderful partner of Silver Draft. At Silver Draft, we build high-performance supercomputers and workstations, but we approach it in a different way. We look at the actual applications and the workflow of the artist. So that really lends itself well with Autodesk, and Autodesk is a wonderful partner of ours. So we're here supporting Autodesk, and we build these. These are some of our VR systems. So this is a little mini Demon VR, but what is really incredible about it is how much power there is in such a small, light form factor. These are used for high-end enterprise VR. So the automotive companies use these VR systems to, visualize their vehicles, design in virtual reality.
Amazing.
A lot of the automotive companies are our actual clients.
Sure.
And so this is a mini Demon VR, and what's great is there's the NVIDIA is a partner as well. So we're showing P6000s, and we're also showing the GV100s. So we really appreciate the support we get from NVIDIA as well.
Oh my goodness. How did you get involved with Silver Draft?
Well, I was in media and entertainment,
and
there we are, shocking. And there was a need, and I had an idea on what sort of solutions could be created, and not that I was the one that was necessarily going to solve that, but I looked for that solution and ended up meeting my co-founder, and then together we brought the tech and the understanding of the artist, and we came together, and here we are. That was in 2011.
I am impressed.
Oh, thank you.
2011 is 2018 now?
Yeah. I don't know where the time's gone. It's kind of crazy. We have so much fun. We just listen to our clients, understand their needs and their pain points, and work in collaboration with them to solve their problems.
So what do you want in the future? Where do you see this going?
You know, the tech is evolving so quickly right now, and you know, which is very exciting because they're doing more and more difficult, challenging things.
Sure.
As far as Silver Draft goes, I'm open to anything. I'm just going to continue to focus on my clients and their needs, and you know, really work with them to solve the impossible and continue to have fun. It's all about this.
Eddie Hazzard here in Los Angeles, California at the Automobility. Guys, tell me a little bit about yourself. What does RCA do, and what are you guys doing here?
We get that question a lot. So we're RCA Engineering. We're from Detroit, Michigan. We're out here telling people, you know, we're still making things in Detroit. RCO is a full service design engineering, prototyping all the way through production supplier for automotive, aerospace, defense.
Oh, wow.
But we're doing a lot of work with autonomous vehicles now, with electrification. So this is the place to be to kind of see the latest and greatest, and we're here to tell people, hey, we can build it for you, and we can do it right here in the U.S. and Detroit.
How long you guys been in business?
We have been in business since 1973. So
wow.
Yeah, we've been known in the business for a while as a prototype supplier, and we're really pushing into becoming more of a production source for these folks.
What's your latest invention here?
Oh gosh, our latest invention. Well, a lot of the stuff we can't even talk about because it's so far out in advance. But we're supporting all of our customers' ideas, products, innovations. So we don't own any of that, but we just help them get it launched.
So how did you get involved with RCO?
I was actually in medical sales prior to this. So as that industry was kind of declining, automotive was taken up, and I took my background from that and started applying it into automotive and manufacturing. So pretty exciting.
What has amazed you since working with RCO?
Wow, I think just the breadth of products we're involved in now. We kind of get, as Alex said, pulled into a lot of different projects by our customers, and we just have to respond. So people kind of know us as the one that can take on the crazy, weird projects and move them into production.
Now I have a question here. You guys are engineers. You have the futuristic stuff. What the heck is hot sauce doing here?
Oh man,
it has nothing to do with
it. It's honestly it's the #1 conversation starter, along with our giant video screen here.
We're at the U-Box booth with Sabrina. Sabrina, tell us a little bit about your all these little chips here.
Sure. So U-Blox is a Swiss company, and we've been around for 20 years.
Oh.
We make chipsets and modules for cellular, for GPS, and for Wi-Fi and Bluetooth.
Wow.
So what we have here today are some of the selections of the products that we make. So over here, you can see our Vera P1, which is our V2X, or Vehicle to Everything module.
Really?
So this connects essentially for vehicle-to-vehicle communication. We also have here our Tobii L4. This is our
what is it again?
Tobii L4. This is an LTE Cat6 module. So in this case specifically, what we're showing here is it brings LTE connectivity to the car. So if we move over here, you can see is an example of a connected car. So imagine this to scale. In here is a board with 3 of our modules on there.
That was my next question. Yeah, how many modules in the car?
One is the Tobii L4 with the LTE Cat6 module in it. So this brings the cellular signal to the vehicle. You got high-speed data connectivity there. And then you have in here also what we call the MEW1, which is a Wi-Fi module.
Oh.
So this turns your car into a hotspot.
Oh.
So if you have your kids in the back, they can stream Netflix or cartoons or whatever they want to watch. And at the same time, we have a GPS module in there, the Neo M8, and that gives you position for your navigation system. This vehicle is also connected to an application by wireless car. So what you can do here, for example, if you parked your car somewhere, you forgot where exactly it was, it gives you the location as to where the car is actually positioned.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful.
And then there's some functionality in here. You can unlock the doors remotely. You can look at your fuel level, honk the horns, blink the lights, anything really that you can envision.
Well, can I honk the horn to music? You know,
I'm sure it can be programmed.
We're here at InterTrust with Tom Carew.
Nice to be here.
Thank you, Tom. Tell us a little bit about your business.
So InterTrust is a security and more company, but the two products we're showing here, software security, we protect mobile apps for automobile manufacturers and OEMs, and we also have software protection that goes into the head ends of cars.
Wow.
So cars are becoming moving computers, and we protect that inside. And we also have another product called Kiora.
Called what?
Kiora. It creates a Wi-Fi hotspot content zone. So if you have this in your car, you can stream 4 to 6 simultaneous video streams to bring your own devices that consumers can have. So in the past, you used to have the kids in the back seat watching a DVD. Now you put this somewhere, and you're able to stream to your tablet, your mobile, your computer. And then we have a larger version for buses and trains. And so that's what we're doing.
So what is the next innovation you guys are expecting to come out with?
We're coming up with a number of different things. We're working on things such as conditional access for broadcasters, but also blockchain technology as well.
That is amazing. Now I got to get a car to put this in the car.
You got it right here.
Tom, tell us about on your sign here, application and code protection.
Well, application and code protection is what we use to protect either the mobile apps or the software that's resident inside the car head end. The other service that we're talking about is CSIR, which is a public key infrastructure key provisioning. So to make sure that a device is the device that it says it is by having the unique identifier tied to a service. So it's fundamental.
Far out, far out. I'm at the Moby booth with CP and Chris here. So I'm going to go here first and then come back over here. Tell us a little bit about the booth here, Chris.
Okay, well, we're Moby, which is the Mobility Open Blockchain Initiative, which is a consortium of big automakers, OEMs, tier 1 suppliers, tech companies, governments, nonprofits.
Governments?
And agencies. Well, agencies. And a whole lot of startups.
Wow.
Investigating blockchain applications in mobility.
Wow. Where are you based out of?
We live in Los Angeles. Our members are all over the world.
Wow.
Virtual.
Wow. How did you get involved with them, CP?
I got involved about 6 months back through a common contact. I have been in the tech industry, startups for the last 15 to 20 years.
Oh my goodness.
And I was researching blockchain, got very interested in blockchain, got introduced, and automotive industry is changing, and the way it's going to work in the next 5 to 10 years will be perhaps completely different from what we know today. So with my interest, I got connected with Chris. So this is a great opportunity how lives can change, and got involved with Moby.
So where do you see the direction of Moby going? They're doing so well with, look at all this.
We've grown from 35 members to over 150 members in 7 months, and we have a very healthy pipeline of new companies still joining. A lot of the largest tech companies in the world are still talking to us about joining, so the future is very bright for us. We see an incredible number of applications for the technology and mobility, ranging from vehicles making micropayments to other vehicles and infrastructure for road usage, tracking the provenance of parts, vehicle identity, and a whole lot of other things. We are an open community. We want small companies to come in because that's where the innovative technology is getting done.
Amazing. CP?
Yeah, and we have also launched Moby Grand Challenge in October. That's a challenge which will go on for, this is a 3-year plan. The first challenge has just started in October, and you mentioned about small startup companies. Lots of interest there, a lot of different companies participating there from all around the world. The plan is to build technologies based on blockchain, which can take mobility to the next phase. This challenge has started in October, and the finale will be in February at BMW headquarters in Munich.
Really?
Yes.
So can I get on a plane to Munich?
Yeah.
All right, it's on tape. Now I got it.
We'll send you an invite.
Hey, that's good as a plane ticket to me. Here with George Grama at Autonomy, right? Am I saying that correctly?
That's correct, yeah.
George, tell us a little bit about autonomy. No, I'm not saying that correctly.
You are saying it correctly. It's autonomy.
Oh, okay.
Basically, what we're building is a blockchain cloud for autonomous vehicles.
Wow.
So we want these autonomous vehicles to communicate one with another. We want them to exchange information with the smart city grid and with the smartphone apps on your phone, basically. Sure. But we want to make sure that communication is as secure as possible, sure, so no one can hack it. Everything is authenticated and encrypted. And basically, that's what we're doing. We want to make sure that communication is as safe as possible.
I was watching TV where they had hacked into a car to show that they could do it and took over and stuff.
That's true, and that's a real risk that's present in today's cars, let alone in self-driving cars of the future. We wouldn't want that to happen, and that's where autonomy comes in.
George, explain what's up here, how your autonomy works here.
So we have 3 verticals that we're targeting. One of them is vehicle to smartphone, so that communication and all the scenarios that could go on from that. So you could request a car, it comes and picks you up, it drops you off somewhere.
Man.
Yeah, that's already working actually. We have a working demo of that. And then we have a vehicle to infrastructure communication. So that's the smart city component. And then there's vehicle to vehicle communication.
Let's go for a little bit here.
There's vehicle-to-vehicle communication. So let's say you have a police car that wants to get through, or a fire truck that wants to get through traffic. They can actually broadcast that message way in advance regarding their path. So self-driving cars move out of the way automatically to make way for that fire truck. And let's say,
wow,
let's say a building is on fire.
Yeah.
That fire truck can actually signal to all the cars that are parked in that building to get out of the parking lot, drive off, so they can put out the fire without, that much extensive damage to the building.
Amazing.
So, but we have to make sure, that's a real police car, that's a real fire truck, real ambulance, and that's where blockchain and autonomy comes into play as well.
This is crazy. This is great.
This is the future.
This is my name.
Hazards.
That's right. That is. That's right.
Is it?
Yeah, it is. I'll show you later.
Fair enough.
This is truly amazing.